Fox News alert, the final deadline for the Nancy Guthrie ransom just passed. The alleged kidnappers demanding $6 million by 7 Eastern. Just moments ago, Savannah Guthrie released this.
We believe our mom is still out there. We need your help. Law enforcement is working tirelessly around the clock trying to bring her home, trying to find her. She was taken and we don't know where. And we need your help. So I'm coming on just to ask you, not just for your prayers, but no matter where you are, even if you're far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you hear anything, if there's anything at all that seems strange to you, that you report to law enforcement. We are at an hour of desperation, and we need your help.
This is the first time Savannah has spoken directly to the public. Previous videos were mainly aimed at the kidnappers. Many feared Nancy was no longer alive and that negotiations had taken a dark turn after Savannah put this video out on Saturday.
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
This suggested to some that the Guthries were willing to pay for the return of their mother's body. But then, late Saturday night, unmarked police vehicles returned once again to Annie Guthrie's house. That's the sister and her husband, Tommaso. Law enforcement stayed for more than 2 hours. Cameras flashed inside the house, and reporters heard loud clanking noises as several items were carried out and loaded into police vehicles. At one point, an agent was seen carrying a silver briefcase, possibly a Celebrite device, typically used to analyze iPhones and computers. This would be the second time investigators brought the device to Annie Guthrie's house. Later, a deputy was seen loading a white case along with a brown bag into a police vehicle. Does this suggest authorities are scrutinizing the family? Does this mean they don't believe their side of the story? We have no idea. It could very well be routine, but with no suspects and the sheriff not ruling anybody out, it does raise a lot of questions. 10:30 at night seems very late to be conducting sudden searches of the sister's house. They must have gotten new information, or perhaps there was something so urgent they couldn't wait for the morning. We assume the Guthrie family's cooperating with authorities. We have no reason to believe they aren't. The next day, Sunday, investigators searched a septic tank behind Nancy's home, looking for possible evidence that may have been flushed. Fox News examined the area surrounding the property. Watch.
Wanted to give you a different point of view. So you've got Nancy's house, it's in the middle, and the lots are large enough for privacy. We walked the front of the properties, and on one side, mailbox to mailbox, it's about 300 feet. On the other side, it's a little closer. But with both homes that flank her house, there are lines of vegetation, there's space and cactus. And from what we could gather, it appears the neighbors to the back may have the best vantage point to her home.
Authorities haven't even determined whether the ransom notes are legitimate. As far as we know, they could be real or they could be hoaxes. And so far, whoever's sending these messages hasn't provided proof of life. Authorities have said there's been no video or no pictures proving Nancy's still alive and in anyone's captivity. Although these messages could contain written details that only Nancy and the family would know that prove someone has her. Also new tonight, the FBI is saying it's not aware of any continued communication between the Guthrie family and suspected kidnappers, nor have we identified a suspect or person of interest in this case at this time. There's also a new question about the note itself, which specified that the payment be made in U.S. dollars, suggesting the senders could be outside the country or foreign actors, or the messages could just be written by AI. The Sheriff's Department, after doing a ton of media, suddenly doesn't have anything to say. The Nancy Guthrie investigation is ongoing. Follow-up continues at multiple locations. No suspects, persons of interest, or vehicles have been identified. No scheduled press briefings. If any significant developments occur in this case, a press conference will be called. So no time for a briefing, but the sheriff did have time for a basketball game. Here he is at the University of Arizona Wildcats game on Saturday, just minutes before Savannah released the video saying she'd pay. So Savannah paid the ransom? We don't know. The deadline just passed, and authorities are expected to continue activity at the Guthrie homes tonight and into tomorrow. Earlier, TMZ reported that the Bitcoin account that the alleged kidnappers were using still appeared empty. Do you pay ransom without proof of life, or do you just roll the dice? These are the heart-wrenching decisions that have to be made.
So according to neuroscientists, Gen Z is the first generation that is less intelligent than the one before it. And that's saying something, since the previous generation ate laundry detergent. But kids born between 97 and 2010 underperformed on basically every cognitive measure, from basic attention, memory, literacy, numeracy, whatever, executive function, and general IQ. And the culprit, of course, they blame the evil screens. It's true, so many are looking at their phones constantly that there's been a huge increase of me running them over. Of course, whenever something goes wrong in America today, we blame the rectangle. Kids can't read, must be the iPad. Can't do math, it's the phone. Kids aren't watching Fox and Friends. Well, maybe it's because they have eyes. But here's the thing. Tools don't make you dumber, they make you smarter. It's what separates humans from animals. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a kangaroo change a tire? Or a cow use a vibrator? Wrong picture. People. Now, blaming technology for being dumb is like blaming your hair trimmer for the $sign shaved on the back of your head. It's a tool. It's not the tool to blame. It's the system handing kids the tool after removing discipline, standards, and critical thinking. It's like handing a drunk his car keys and then being surprised he ended up driving through the front of a 7-Eleven. Remember, it was the teachers' unions who pushed the lockdowns, and they kept schools closed, kids isolated, parents scrambling, and now they're shocked that test scores collapsed like J.B. Pritzker running after an ice cream truck. Social media also wasn't behind the political activism and trans mania that took over classrooms. That was activists masquerading as instructors. So now we hear from the same experts saying, wow, these kids are behind, must be Instagram. No, it's because you replaced education with identity and made victimhood a path to recognition. Look, an iPhone has never told teens to walk out of class to protest something they can't even define. And an iPad didn't tell teens that gender is fluid and math is racist. Schools did, without any accountability. And the last time I checked, it wasn't the Republican Party running all that crap. It was Democrats and guys like this. But it's become the reflex to blame social media, perhaps as a way for those truly responsible to escape culpability. Meanwhile, look at what social media has accomplished. Musk's X provided the avenue for truth tellers to expose narratives as they took shape. Remember when they said videos of a bubbling Biden were deep fakes? It wasn't social media telling us that, it was the mainstream media. And it was the dissemination of truth through X that debunked like that within hours. In the old days, if someone staged a fake hate crime, the media would run with it for months or years. Now the internet investigates in real time. Without social media, Jussie Smollett would still be a civil rights hero instead of a known sugar daddy for Nigerian bodybuilders. Sure, the internet can suck, but never in history have people been exposed to more ideas, narratives, and counter-narratives of every sort. So this idea that screens just make kids stupid ignores reality. The real brain rot comes from teaching kids what to think instead of how to think. It starts with pushing orthodoxy. You either believe this or you are evil. Then school becomes repeat after me instead of think for yourself. Which means that this generation, hopefully, may end up being the smartest of all, because they're figuring out that those in charge of the truth are all full of Let's welcome tonight's guest. He once took third place in Last Hobo Standing. Host of the Loftus Party podcast, comedian Michael Loftus. She once won the Orange Prize for fiction because her writing is so appealing. Author Lionel Shriver. She went from spin doctors to hip doctors. Host of the Kennedy Saves the World podcast, Kennedy. And what you call a bike chain, he calls dental floss. Former NWA world champion, host of the Planet Tyrus podcast, Tyrus. Michael, at the shelter where you stayed, your only screen is a broken down Etch-a-Sketch. So I imagine it must be hard for you to understand a poll like this. What do you think is behind this rise in dumbness?
It is. That's all we have is the Etch-a-Sketch. And you tap on it, nothing happens, and then Big Jerry shakes it, and you're like, I was watching that. This poll is terrifying. Mm-hmm. It's terrifying. Because they say it's the first time in history that, like, this generation is dumber than the previous one. But they're confident. And that's the scariest thing ever, is like self-assured, stupid people.
Right.
And then you're like, how long has this been going on? It might have been going on for a while. We're just stupid to realize it.
Yeah.
Right? And then I start thinking, am I smarter than my dad? And I don't think I am. I remember as a kid, my dad would come up and he'd be like, if you keep doing that, you're going to go blind.
Yes.
And then I'd say, what does that have to do with anything, Dad? But it's all the school system. It's all the school system. I was so excited when Trump said he was going to get rid of the Department of Education. I think we were all excited. And then the Department of Education, people are like, well, how are we supposed to teach all these kids without money? And you're like, you're the Department of Education. If you can't figure it out, teach yourself how to do that. Use a word problem. I'm the Department of Education. I have 5 apples. I need to teach 80 million children. Figure that out. Equals.
All right, that was good. So, Lionel, welcome to the show. Your first time here. I'm very excited. I love your writing. He said something interesting, Michael. He said that he doesn't think he's smarter than his parents. Is we kind of generational look at things differently? We think kids are dumber than we are. Are we right?
Well, you know, there's that old joke, of which my father was predictably fond, about the kid who thought his father was an idiot. And then by the time he turned 25, the old man had learned an awful lot.
Yes.
I think a lot of intelligence is humility. And that entails acknowledging how much you don't know. And we're not teaching humility. We're teaching arrogance. We're teaching false confidence, self-esteem. And in order to become educated, you have to concede that you don't know that anymore. You know, you need it. And you have to receive it, and you have to make an effort.
Right.
But, you know, one of the things that really bugs me is it's not just the screen stuff. It's that the schools are not teaching information. We've devalued information because it's infinitely available to us on the screen.
Right.
So why would you need to know what's the largest number? I mean, like you hear these video box pops in Times Square. They'll ask, what's the largest number? And this young person will say, 100. Or come up with the name of a country that begins with U. Utah. Yugoslavia.
So you're right twice now.
They can't think of a country that begins with U, and they're in the United States. Now, this is just the case across the board, that people don't know anything, and they think that having the means to getting it is the same as knowing it.
Yes, it's like I'm really good. I like to brag, Kennedy, that I'm really good at searching, like grabbing the right. I don't know anything, but I could find it out with one search term. Are you as pessimistic as Lionel is? Because you have daughters.
I do.
Are they smarter than you yet?
In different ways, they are. And my parents were both really smart in different ways, where I have like an avenue of intelligence, which, you know, I didn't realize until I went to college, and I didn't go to college until late. And it was then that I realized, you know, to Lionel's point, I had this massive void. And it was so satisfying going to college when because I went in my late 20s after I'd had 2 careers, like I knew if college didn't work out, I would still be able to make a living. But I had areas where I had these massive deficits, and getting to fill them was such a joy. And I've always tried to encourage my daughters to do the same thing. I've got one in college, and I've got one who's a junior in high school. And I keep telling her, number one, you don't have to go to college. And number two, and this is what drives me crazy, like they hector these kids, what are you majoring in? What do you want to do? And I'm like, no one really knows what they want to do. But they try and force kids into these areas of specialization. But if you have kids who are naturally intelligent and they do have this incredible aptitude, we do not indulge that. You don't let kids, you don't allow them to be painters and to spend 8 hours a day painting and sculpting, because if they have their own lane of intelligence, they should be able to do that. But you can't with teachers' unions, an entire education system that is set upon a Prussian learning system from the 1800s. It's so incredibly outdated, but critical thinking never goes out of style.
Yeah, no, I like that you brought, you can make a lot of money painting. You can make a lot of money painting, like houses, stuff
Hunter
like
Biden.
that. Yes, look at that. All right, Tyrus. Okay, are we right to blame screens? Am I right to say it's not the... Okay.
It's not the screens. It's not the schools. It's the parents. Lazy parents. Lazy parenting. Schools have always been one way or the other. There was a time when schools would preach you that a person of my color shouldn't sit at the same table as you. But parents knew better.
You mean tan?
Yes. It's Black History Month, so he's behaving. But I look at how my mother did things, right? And she was a single mom who worked 90 hours a week, worked nights, but before she would go to bed in the morning, when she came in, we were going out. We had to have our books out. We had to show our work for school. Then when we came home and she's getting ready to go to work, we had to do our homework before we did anything else. And if we didn't have homework, she would invent it for us. And now we didn't have the net. We had to get an Encyclopedia Britannica and write down 5 things. Our mother forced us to search. What it is now is parents, when you decide that you're going to give your kid a tablet to do his homework, there's no search. They write, what's the answer to this? Boom, oh, there it is, and they write it down. You didn't learn anything. But then mom and dad can go on their tablet and see what their ex-girlfriend's having for dinner tomorrow night. You can blame the system, but parents are not doing the work anymore because they're lazy, because they're being spoiled. And there's people like, I don't think that. You look at any grandparent and ask them, do you see the same effort of work on top of the stuff that you were doing? And things are easier now because, to your point, you can hit the magic thing and get all the answers you want, but no one's doing the work. Parents aren't doing the work. Prepare your kids. School helps, but mom and dad, or just mom or just dad, needs to sacrifice their own. Maybe you don't get to go out. Maybe you don't have happy hour. Maybe you don't get to go camp. Maybe you don't get to sit on and scroll on Instagram for 4 hours in your bathtub. You might have to get off your ass and show them how to do algebra. And if you don't know it, then maybe you take a class. But I'm saying parenting needs to be better.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.